Might it be time for some of you to reintroduce carbs after doing keto or carnivore for an extended period of time? In this video, I'm going to explain when it might be time to reintroduce some carbohydrates if you've been doing keto and carnivore, and also when might low carb or zero carb dieting be doing more harm than good. Hi, I'm Dr. Sarah Zaldivar, and I was featured on the first ever carnivore documentary called Reverse TV series, and I've also lost and maintained 35 pounds utilizing low carb dieting, especially keto and carnivore diets, and also raising my baseline dopamine levels, but I explain more that part of it in this YouTube video. I've also quit my nutrition professor jobs at the University of Miami, the American College of Sports Medicine, and Miami-Dade College and elsewhere, so I could focus on coaching the thousands of clients that I have coached so far towards better health and fitness. Now, I know that this video might ruffle some feathers, but it doesn't really have to if you just give me a second to explain. If eliminating plants from your diet by following a strict carnivore diet completely eliminated your autoimmune disease or mental health condition, that's fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing, don't change anything. But if a carnivore diet relieved all of these conditions for a certain period of time, but now you don't really feel that great, then we might need to dig in a little bit deeper and optimize for your gut health and look at other potential contributors to that autoimmune condition or that mental health condition, etc. Now, for those of you who have lost the weight, reversed their diabetes or insulin resistance, improved their athletic performance, but now you're not feeling just as great as you did when you first reversed all of these conditions, or for those of you who are athletes and peak performers, maybe you might do better by reintroducing some amount of carbohydrates into your diet. You see, this is the beauty of experience and knowledge. You can't be boxed into a dogma. You have to keep an open mind. And just the more people that I coach, the more cases that I see, the more my mind is blown, and the more I have to make sure that I'm open-minded to all the scientific evidence and understand that sometimes the best thing that I can do for certain clients is to reintroduce carbohydrates to improve their metabolism, their thyroid hormones, so their hair stops falling apart, so their mood improves, so that they can recover faster from their workouts, etc. Just like you could overtrain with exercise, there is such a thing as overhealing on keto and carnivore diets. Are you experiencing fatigue, brain fog, hair loss, slow recovery, joint pain, depression, mood changes, a reduced ability to recover from your workouts, or maybe it's becoming harder for you to lose weight on a carnivore diet? Maybe in those cases, looking at reintroducing some safe carbs might be the answer. I generally will recommend testing if somebody can afford it in order to have a baseline and to look under the hood and know exactly what's going on with our hormones. And that can give me so much information as to whether this long-term carbohydrate restriction led to chronic stress, which now is wreaking havoc on the body. What are some of these tests that I would recommend? The easiest one is free, and that is checking your resting heart rate. The higher your heart rate gets, and also your heart rate variability, the more I suspect something is off. Your fasted blood sugar and insulin levels, and also HbA1c or glycated hemoglobin. We do see that chronic stress inflicted by carbohydrate restriction for an extended period of time could affect your blood sugars and glycated hemoglobin levels. And so we already know that that could lead to insulin resistance. We weren't sure if that insulin resistance that we had a greater risk of disease or not. But the more I coach people, the more I see cases, the more I am inclined to believe that some people will actually feel healthier and function better by reversing this type of insulin resistance. Thyroid function is important. I like to order the full panel of thyroid as opposed to just the TSH, which most endocrinologists will order. Also, testosterone levels is a great marker. You see a drop in testosterone levels in long-term, very low carb or zero carb diets. Of course, also cortisol, your main stress hormone, and also norepinephrine, and also DHEAS, which tends to drop in the long term as you start having elevations of cortisol chronically. Now you start seeing DHEAS dropping. I also look into inflammatory markers like CRP, C-reactive protein, specifically HR, high sensitivity CRP, fibrinogen, and interleukin-6. Also, triglyceride levels tend to go up. We also see abnormalities in cholesterol levels and visceral fat accumulation, where it becomes very difficult for that person to drop body fat, especially around the belly area. Now, what do I mean by reintroducing carbs? No, I don't mean eating pizzas every day. I like to start out with things like tubers and fruits and yogurts and cottage cheese. In cases of athletic performance, I'm not opposed to things like grains like white rice, for example, as well. That's because when we're entering performance terrain, it's a whole different game that we're playing, and we really do want you to recover as quickly as possible using as little inflammatory foods as humanly possible, but also giving you enough energy and enough calories to recover fast enough. Now, I will link to some of the blood tests that I mentioned if you want to order them directly yourself, if you don't want to go see somebody or see me so that we can go over your blood work. And if you haven't gotten my carnivore guide, which I know is counterintuitive since I'm talking about what to do after you've been on carnivore for a long period of time, but still, it's a good idea to have a copy of it. It's free. You can sign up to get it on my newsletter at drsarahzoldivar.com/newsletter. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, then check out my one-on-one coaching packages at drsarahzoldivar.com/coaching, and you can use code YouTube at checkout to get 50% off all of my one-on-one coaching packages. The coupon though expires in 48 hours. And I hope that this was helpful and you learned something from it. If you have questions, drop them in the comment section below, and make sure you give this YouTube video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell icon so YouTube alerts you every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.